Please adhere to YouTube's selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during the video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alrighty, so today I'm going to be smoking a cigarette with Joe Camel. That's right, the real Joe Camel. The Joe Camel that used to advertise for Camel cigarettes, but was banned from doing so unjustly by the federal government in the 1990s. Right off screen, right over here, we have Joe Camel. And I am very excited to smoke a cigarette with Joe Camel today because, honestly, it's been a lifetime dream of mine to do so. Ever since I came out the womb, I've not only wanted to smoke a lot of cigarettes, but I've also wanted to smoke a cigarette with Joe Camel. I remember seeing cigarette advertisements with Joe Camel on them when I was in the womb. And I remember just thinking that Joe Camel was like the coolest person ever. He had fancy cars, he had fancy clothes, he had fancy houses, he had fancy women, he had fancy cigarettes, and still does have all of those things, even though he's now in retirement. Joe Camel is a huge baller, and he's just somebody I've really honestly always looked up to. So it really is just insanely surreal to me that I'm going to be able to smoke a cigarette with Joe Camel for the first time today. It really is wild, to say the least. But I do suppose I can't actually smoke a cigarette with Joe Camel if Joe Camel doesn't actually come on screen. Now, can I? So, Joe, you ready to come on screen, my man? You ready to make your first video appearance in just about 25, 30 years? Hell yeah, my man. Glad to hear you're ready. Come on, my man. Come on screen. Hell yeah, man. How you doing, Joe? You doing good today? You doing good? How's retirement been? It's been good? Hell yeah. Glad to hear you've been having a good time in retirement. How's the wife doing, man? How's the wife doing? I know you're chatting about your wife before we were starting this video today. How's she doing, man? Doing good? Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Just enjoying life? Enjoying your cigarettes, I hope, as well? Glad to hear, man. Glad to hear you're just enjoying life. Glad to hear you're just enjoying your cigarettes. Glad to hear you're having a good time as a whole. Thank you so much for coming on video today. Joe Camel, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on video. It really is it really is very surreal for me to have you on video today. It's something I never really expected to happen, but I'm very glad to have you on video, my man, and I'm very glad to be making this video today. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Joe Camel. I really do appreciate it. And I do suppose I should probably go ahead and talk about what cigarettes both Joe and I are going to be smoking. I'm providing the cigarettes today. And Joe, I got a special cigarette. I had to bring out a special cigarette just for you, my man. But what cigarette are we actually going to be smoking today, Joe? What do you think? You want to make a guess? You want to make a guess? He's guessing it's going to be a Camel cigarette. Well, you're right about that. But in specific, today, Joe, you and I are going to be smoking a pack of 14-year-old Camel Lights from prior to 2010. We got some semi-vintage Camel cigarettes with us today. Pretty cool stuff if I do say so myself, right? Let me go ahead and just show y'all real quick. This is the pack of cigarettes that I'm going to be smoking today. I said it is a pre-2010 14-year-old minimum pack of Camel Light cigarettes from the United States. These are now known as the Camel Blues. These were made prior to the banning of the usage of the word light on cigarette packs. And I figured, hey, why not bring out a special Camel cigarette to smoke with Joe Camel today? And so as such, that's exactly what I did. But I do suppose, without further ado, I guess we should probably go ahead and get to smoking now, shouldn't we, Joe? So I think I'm going to go ahead and get you out a cigarette. I'll go ahead and get you out a cigarette and hand you one, my man. So here's your cigarette, my man. Just go ahead and, yeah, just put it in your mouth just like that, you know what I'm saying? Just like that. All good, you know what I'm saying? All good. And I think I'm going to go and get myself out a cigarette as well, you know? Not just you that's going to be smoking, it's going to be me as well, of course. We're both smoking a cigarette today, Joe. But without further ado, let's go and get my lighter out of my pocket now. And I think I'm going to go ahead and get your cigarette lit up. And then after that, I'm going to go and get my cigarette lit up. And I think after that, well, just going to be chatting with Joe Camel, smoking a cigarette with Joe Camel for the first time, and just enjoying, sitting back, relaxing with Joe Camel today. I think that's pretty much the plan for this smoking experience, you know what I'm saying? But without further ado, let's go and first off get your cigarette lit up, Mr. Joe Camel. Thank you so much once again for coming on the show, my man. Let's light it up. How's your cigarette so far, Joe? Is it good? Tasting good? I know these are like some 14-year-old cigarettes and they've been open for a couple months now, but in my opinion, they still taste pretty good. My question though, Joe, what's your personal preference when it comes to Camel cigarettes? If you want to say, what's your personal preference? My personal preference when it comes to Camel cigarettes these days is probably, in the United States at least, Camel Blues, I'd have to say. What do you think of Camel Blues as well? You like Camel Blues a decent amount? Hey, I'm glad to hear, my man. I'm glad to hear you like Camel Blues. What's your favorite all-time Camel cigarette, though? Camel Special Lights. Interesting choice. I haven't tried one of those. I haven't ever tried a Camel Special Light before. Well, I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to doing that whenever I have the opportunity to do so in the future. Camel Special Lights. Very cool. I'm going to have to keep that pack in mind, and I'm looking forward to trying one of those whenever the opportunity occurs. Thank you very much for letting me know what your favorite Camel cigarette is, Mr. Joe Camel. They're not made anymore? Well, that's a shame, but if I can find a vintage pack, then I will certainly be happy, that is for sure. Now, I'm sure some of y'all are wondering, what's my perspective on this experience so far? What's my perspective on smoking a cigarette with Joe Camel so far? Am I having a good time? Am I having a bad time? Overall, I'm having a great time. I'm having a great time smoking a cigarette with Joe Camel today. I hope you're having a great time as well, Joe. Thank you so much once again for coming on the show today. I really do appreciate it. I'm having an amazing time. I'm loving my smoke, and I hope you're loving your smoke as well, my man. I am having just such a good time, and it really does just feel so surreal to be smoking a cigarette with you, my man. It's wild. It really is wild. Thank you so much for offering to come on the show. I really do appreciate it. It's great to have you, my man. It's great to have you. What do you think of the weather today, though? It's pretty nice weather out here, isn't it? My backyard's a little bit dirty. I'm sorry you have to see that, Joe. I know your backyard's always clean. You hire people to help with the backyard. I just don't got that much money, though, I'll acknowledge, and I just haven't gotten to it. But what do you think of the weather today? It's beautiful. It's like 80 degrees out here, you know what I'm saying? Great smoking weather, just a little bit of a light breeze. It's a good time. It's a good time. Would you consider this a good smoking experience so far, Joe? Excuse me. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Glad to hear you are. Glad to hear you are considering this to be a pretty good smoking experience so far, my man. I'm enjoying this experience. Glad to hear you are as well. Now, there is one question that I had in mind that I wanted to ask you, and that was, I wanted to ask you how you feel or how you felt. I don't know if you really care too much about this anymore, but I was wondering if you're comfortable with answering this question. I was wondering how you felt about being banned from appearing in cigarette advertisements by the actual federal government itself. They accused you of trying to purposefully appeal to children. I mean, like, that's like a massive accusation right there. That's pretty messed up. Like, that's like pretty defamatory in my personal opinion. If you're comfortable with answering that question, how do you feel about that? Okay. All right. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Well, thank you very much for your response. So, your opinion, just to make sure I'm thinking of this correct, is that your opinion is that you weren't appealing to children. You were just trying to showcase just how much of a baller you are while making money and advertising cigarettes at the same time. And it just so happened that a lot of people thought you were so cool that you were appealing to children. You know, I think you're right. I think you're right about that, my man. I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not going to disagree. I think your perspective is absolutely right, Mr. Joe Camel. I don't think you were appealing to children. And I think you're just so cool that, people just thought you were appealing to children because you are just that cool. It's pretty messed up stuff, if I do say so myself. The federal government, they really overstepped themselves, didn't they? Yeah, no, I know, right? Seriously. They really did overstep their boundaries. They really did overstep their boundaries, banning you from appearing in cigarette advertisements. It really was just so messed up. Man, Joe, you know how to enjoy a cigarette, though. Man, that cigarette hasn't even ashed yet. It hasn't even ashed. Wow, that is... Man, I can never get a cigarette to last that long without ashing, but you got that stuff, my man. You got that. Man, you're a talented smoker, my man. Talented smoker. Yes, sir. I'm like, you're Joe Camel after all. Of course you're a talented smoker. I have one other question for you. Well, maybe more than one other question, but I'm just going to stick to this one question just for the moment. But I was curious to know what your opinion is on Camel cigarettes today. After having been banned by the federal government, do you kind of not really like Camel cigarettes all that much anymore? Or do you still like Camel cigarettes today? Do you still smoke them routinely? What's your opinion on Camel cigarettes today, my man? I'm curious to find out. Okay. You know, I kind of feel the same way. Yeah. No, I can agree with that. They used to be better in the 1990s. Just higher quality cigarettes as a whole, less chemical taste, a little bit more of depth of taste as well in the 1990s. But still not bad cigarettes by any means. I'd have to agree with that. Okay. Interesting take. Thank you very much for the answer, my man. I do appreciate it. Was very curious to know the answer to that. Now, I'm done with my first cigarette of this video today. Joe is not quite done, and oh my goodness, it just ashed. Oh man, such a big baller. You don't even care if it ashes right on you. And you know, I respect that. I respect that, Joe. That was a big baller move right there. Just don't even care. Hell yeah, man. Didn't even flinch when it ashed on you. I always flinch. Big baller move, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and get another smoke, all it up though. And I'm gonna go ahead and get back to smoking. You're still finishing off your first cigarette, but I'm gonna keep smoking, my man. Yes, sir. So, I do have one other question as well. I was honestly a little bit nervous for today's video, so I've forgotten some of the questions I kind of had in mind for this video today, but from my understanding at least, there has been a long time beef between you and the Marlboro Man. Is that true? Did you actually have a long time beef with the Marlboro Man? You did? You did actually have a long time beef with the Marlboro Man? Wow. I wasn't sure if it was just the media making it appear like y'all actually had a beef. Wow. Very interesting to hear that y'all actually had a beef. You know, in today's sphere, I think a boxing match between y'all would be really interesting. What are you thinking, Joe? Do you think you could win against the Marlboro Man in a boxing match? Is that something you'd want to do? You think you could win? Oh, man. Oh, man. I can't repeat what he just said. I cannot repeat. You're talking smack, man. Oh, man. Oh, man, you talking smack. You think you could whoop his ass? You know, hey, I respect it, man. I respect it. Marlboro Man, he's gotten a little bit old. You haven't aged a day, my man. So, honestly, if I was a betting man, and there was a match between you and the Marlboro Man, my money would be on you, my man. My money would be on you. Not biased, but my money would be on you, man. I think you'd win. I think you'd win in a heartbeat. Oh, you want me to stub out your cigarette? Yeah, I got you, my man. Let me go ahead and just stub your cigarette out real quick. I know it's getting a bit low. The ashtray ain't really near you, so just went ahead and stubbed out your cigarette. Do you want another one? Do you want another cigarette, Joe? All good for the minute? All good for the moment? There's your first cigarette of the day. got a little bit of a buzz. Oh, hell yeah, man. I respect, you know what I'm saying? Take another little puff. Take another little puff of mine, man. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about, my man. That's what I'm talking about. So I know you have a little bit of a beef with the Marlboro Man. You just said so, of course. But what's your opinion on Marlboro cigarettes? Should I ask that question, or can you even answer that question? Would it be a legal issue if you answered that question? I'm not sure if I really should be I'm not sure if I really should be asking that question, and I'm not sure if you should answer it just for legal reasons. What's your take, though? Can you answer that question? And if so, what do you think of Marlboro cigarettes? Oh, wow. Oh, man. Oh. Talking smack, man. I didn't take you for a smack talking man, my man, but you know, I respect. I can't say exactly what Joe Camel just said, but he was talking smack. He was talking smack about Marlboros, and he was saying they're like the worst cigarettes ever made. Dang, man. I'm enjoying my smoke, though. Man, these Camels, they're great. I'm really enjoying them, my man. They are some good stuff, to say the least. You still on friendly terms with Old Joe, though? For context, just in case any of y'all don't know, Old Joe is the individual on the pack right here. You still on good terms with Old Joe? I know y'all might have had, like, some sort of beef going on since Old Joe was on some advertising and you were on some other advertising. He might have taken some work from you and stuff, but I didn't know if y'all were actually friends or something like that kind of thing. The media might have made me think that you actually had beef when you really didn't. Never had beef with Old Joe. You just got along really well. Oh, wait. Old Joe? He's actually your brother? Old Joe is your brother? I didn't realize. I had no idea. Nobody has ever covered that on any site I've ever looked at about the history of you, Joe Camel, or Old Joe. He's your brother. Wow. I didn't know that. I did not know that. Very, very, very interesting. Well, glad to hear you're still on good terms with Old Joe. Hope there's no beef between y'all, because Old Joe is still able to appear on the packaging and everything like that kind of thing, whereas you've been banned from advertising. Is there any beef? Nah, no beef? No beef? You know, I respect. Respect the grind? That's what I'm talking about, my man. That's what I'm talking about. How was, though? I gotta know, my man. How was the 14-year-old Camel Light cigarette that was made prior to 2010 that I gave you? How was it, my man? Was it good? Was it bad? What do you think of it? It's pretty solid. Pretty good. I feel the same way. My man. Hell yeah. Pretty solid smokes in my personal opinion. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. Glad to have saved these, a little bit of a unique cigarette, a little bit of a rare cigarette these days, to smoke with you, my man. Glad to have saved them. Well, I think I'm almost done with my cigarette. Did you want another cigarette? Not for this moment in time? Well, I think that's going to be the video right there after I finish off this smoke. Thank you so much once again for coming on the video today, Joe Camel. I really do appreciate it. It's been great chatting with you. I've learned a lot, and I hope y'all, the audience, have learned a lot as well. This has been a really good time. And there we go. That's all there was to my cigarette. Well, I gotta admit though, Joe, even after 25 years of retirement, you are still a huge baller, and you're still a professional through and through. Gotta head out. Meeting up with the wife for dinner at 5. Where are you going? Ooh, that's a fancy restaurant, my man. That's a fancy restaurant. Hell yeah, man. Ooh. It's on top of a skyscraper? Man, you balling out, my man. Well, let me put you down, my man. Let me put you down. Let me put you down. I hope you have a great time, Joe. I hope you have a great time, Joe. Hey. Have a good one, my man. Have a good one. Thank you so much for appearing on the video once again, Joe. Have a great rest of your night, man. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much for appearing on video, my man. Well, that's been the video. That's been the video where I smoked a cigarette with Joe Camel for the first time. He was great to chat with, always a professional, even now, over 25 years into retirement. And it was great to chat with him. It was great to get his opinion on a couple different things. And it was just fantastic to smoke a cigarette with Joe Camel for the first time today. This entire experience was very surreal. I was getting my words a little bit jumbled up because I was very nervous. But this has been a really good experience today. Smoking a cigarette with Joe Camel, absolutely wild, absolutely amazing experience. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. This has been such a good time. And I hope you all have enjoyed watching this video where I smoked a cigarette with Joe Camel and where Joe Camel smoked a cigarette with me. It's been wild. It's been a great time. And I hope you all have had a great time watching. Thank you so much for watching this video where I smoked a cigarette with Joe Camel today. If you guys have enjoyed watching this video, of course, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. box, and my second channel all in the description down below. I'd say what Joe Camel's socials are, but sadly he's been banned by the federal government for having any socials, so I can't say what his socials are. I will acknowledge, but I hope y'all have enjoyed watching today. I hope y'all have had a great time, and till the next one, y'all, stay safe and peace and have a great one. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying?